Hey, who was you, pimp? Hey, what the fuck?
What the
Get your
fuck?
motherfucking. Hey, this nigga squeezing me. Get this freak
Hey,
ass
player.
nigga up
You
on
ain't
me,
hear my
bro.
nigga say
What
back the fuck up, dude?
Hey, who was you, pimp? Hey, what the fuck?
What the
Get your
fuck?
motherfucking. Hey, this nigga squeezing me.
Hey,
Get
player.
this freak
Hey,
ass
player.
nigga up
You
on
ain't
me,
hear my
bro.
nigga say
What
back the fuck up, dude?
What's good? It's your boy Passportdog here, and I want to address the number one concern you guys have about coming to places like Colombia, and that is the elephant in the room, and that's scopolamine, dragon's breath, getting drugged and robbed by a woman you met, because that's why you come here for. You come here to deal with the hot chicas, but you don't want to get killed dealing with these girls and have one of them spike your drink and then rob you. This is the biggest concern you guys have coming here to a place like Colombia. This is the biggest red flag, and Colombia has developed a huge reputation of this type of activity. And I want to give you some tips on how to avoid getting drugged and robbed here in Colombia. Let me give you some tips and advice on dealing with women here and how to avoid getting drugged and robbed by a woman here in Colombia. Well, number one, the safe bets. You out here, you want to pay for play. It's not a secret out here. It's very open, and there are establishments that you can go to for these activities. And going to these establishments are a safe bet. You really never have to worry about getting drugged and robbed by a girl you met at a spa, strip club, or these big major clubs out here. For example, La Isla, Gusto, Yaris Park. Girls that get into these clubs are semi-verified. You really don't have to worry about these girls. And let's say a girl, you did have a problem with one of these girls and they're problematic, and hell, one of these girls did drug and rob you. You can go straight to the club. You can go straight to the club. You can go straight to the establishments. They have these girls. They check these girls' IDs. There's cameras everywhere. They will find this woman, and the club themselves will deal with this. So you really don't have to be concerned about a lot of these clubs, girls in these establishments, these strip club spas, the big major clubs, because they're semi-verified. It's not a guaranteed, but hell, if you do have a problem with them, you can go straight to the club and tell them, hey, this girl did X, Y, and Z, and the club will handle it for you. So dealing with the girls in the clubs tends to be a very safe bet coming out here in Medellin, Colombia, or Colombia in general. You really don't have to worry about a lot of these girls. It's the girls outside the club, the ones that can't get into the club, are the women you have to proceed with caution. They can't get into the club for a reason. They usually don't have the proper identification, or something XYZ. They can't get into the club. The club doesn't like them. Who knows? They can't get into the club, and that's for a reason. So the girls that be hanging outside the club and can't get into the club, you got to proceed with caution. It's not a guarantee, dealing with those type of women they're going to have problems. It's just a rule of thumb. Like, they can't get into the club for a reason, so you got to watch out dealing with those type of women. But dealing with women in the establishment, spas, strip clubs, the major clubs, you tends to be very safe. It's a safe bet. You really don't have to worry about them. And if you do have a problem with them, you can go to the club and they will handle it for you. The major concerns, and also I must say, you got to watch out for Venezuelans. I have no problem with Venezuelans. I don't want to speak badly about Venezuelans, but Venezuelans come with a lot of problems. Number one, a lot of Colombians don't like Venezuelans. Like, people ask about racism. There is no racism here, but they are kind of some semi-racist against Venezuelans. Like, you have a Venezuelan chick, you try to bring her to your hotel, and you're staying in one of the big nice hotels, and she doesn't have the proper identification, proper documentation, because the documentation they have tends to be fake and not legit. So They won't even let her into the building when they check her ID and they realize it's a fake ID. They won't let her into the building. So Venezuelans tend to be a little bit problematic here. And on top of that, Colombians are just kind of racist against Venezuelans. So you got to watch out for Venezuelans. I'm not saying all Venezuelans are bad, but they tend to come with a little bit of problems. They tend to be a little bit more hungry for the money. And they usually don't have the proper identification. And now the number one concern and the biggest concern is dealing with the Tinder girl. That's right. 9 times out of 10 times, it's usually a Tinder girl. And I have personal friends who have been drugged and robbed here in Colombia. It's not as common as you think, but these things do happen. And I have personal friends who have fell victim to these situations. And all of them, 100% of them, found the girl they met who robbed them on Tinder. So things to look out on Tinder. A couple red flags to look out for. Let's say you match with a girl on Tinder, you're talking to her, then you move the conversation to WhatsApp. As soon as you get her WhatsApp information, you're talking on WhatsApp, and you go on Tinder, you look back on Tinder and the profile is deleted. She deleted her profile on Tinder. And then you chatting on WhatsApp, she don't even got an icon of her on WhatsApp. It's some type of cartoon or whatever avatar on WhatsApp. These things tend to be a red flag. Also, you're dealing with a girl on Tinder, you're swiping on Tinder, and she's wearing a ski mask. And you swipe right on Tinder, talking it up with this girl on Tinder, and she's wearing a ski mask. You probably shouldn't be dealing with her. I know it sounds obvious, but a lot of you guys are so damn thirsty. Y'all so goddamn thirsty, y'all willing to do anything. So don't mess with the girl with a ski mask on Tinder when you swipe right. But real talk, like, it's just a sign. Like when a girl, like, also she doesn't have an Instagram. You want to get that Instagram. You want a girl with a digital footprint. You want a girl who has an Instagram, because guess what? On her Instagram, she has photos of her dog, trips with the family. She has a digital footprint. And especially if she's attractive, you match with her on Tinder, you're talking about, hey, do you got Instagram? And she doesn't have Instagram. What attractive girl do you know doesn't have an Instagram and is not thirsty for some attention? This is suspicious and a red flag. An attractive woman with no Instagram is a red flag. So you just want to watch out. Make sure she has a digital footprint. Make sure she has an Instagram. Like, if she has an Instagram, she had an Instagram since 2018, has pictures of her family, birthday parties with the balloons. You know, you got the big, oh, I'm 21, and she got the balloons with the birthday cake on the Instagram. She has a digital footprint online, an online digital footprint. And if she does it, red flag. Also, she's working from a business account, business WhatsApp account. So you match with her on Tinder. As soon as you match with her and move the conversation to WhatsApp, she's deleted the WhatsApp. You can't find her on WhatsApp. You can't find her on Tinder. She moved the conversation to WhatsApp. She doesn't have a real icon. These things sound kind of obvious, but a lot of you guys are just so thirsty. You look over these red flags because you're looking at a whole lot of ass. And these are warning signs to look after. And if you're trying to pay for play on Tinder, come on, bro. This is Colombia. You can go to these establishments. You can go to the strip clubs, spas. Like, getting laid out here is the least of your worries. And you don't have to do the most to get laid out here. It's not a secret. It's out in the open, and you can go out and bang these chicks. There are certain establishments out there you can go to find these activities. But 9 times out of 10 times, it's a Tinder girl. And if she's moving like this, doesn't have an Instagram, doesn't have a digital footprint, online presence, no Instagram, no TikTok, no nothing, and she's attractive, these tends to be red flags you got to watch out for dealing with these Tinder girls. When a girl decides to drug and rob you, it's not going to happen in the club. It's not going to happen when you guys are alone. I mean, it's not going to happen out in the open, in the public, in the club. When a girl drugs and robs somebody, it's when you guys are alone, together, in your apartment. This is when she strikes. This is when the Cobra strikes. It's when you guys are alone, in your apartment, by yourself. This is when the Cobra strikes. This is when she drugs you. Just like my friend very recently who got drugged and robbed, he was alone with the girl in his apartment, the girl he met on Tinder, and as soon as he went to the bathroom to take a piss, and he got back and decided to take a sip of his drink, this is when he got drugged. It is not going to happen in the club, out in the open, broad daylight, around a bunch of people. This is not when you should be worried about if somebody's going to drug and rob you. It is when you are alone in your apartment together with the person. She spikes your drink while you go to the bathroom or when you're not looking. So just be cautious of that. Don't have your drink laying around when you're in the bathroom. So this is when the Cobra strikes. Also, let's look into the mind of a person who robs and drugs people for a living. All right, you're this girl, right? And you're looking for a victim online to drug and rob on Tinder. A fairly attractive woman has hundreds of matches on Tinder. Out of all these hundreds of matches, she picked you to be the one to drug and rob. Why? Well, as a robber, you got to think to yourself, I'm about to rob somebody and I have all these potential victims I can go to rob. You're swiping on Tinder, right? And you're looking through these photos, right? You run across this person, he's like, oh, no, I'm not gonna try it on this one. You look at this person, oh, no, I'm not gonna attempt to rob this person. Then you run into this goofy looking motherfucker. Oh, yeah, we got us a victim right here. You run into this goofy dude, and he's the perfect victim to rob. Maybe you guys look goofy as hell on these dating apps. Maybe you guys look like a person somebody would rob. Maybe you just look like a goofy ass motherfucker out here on these dating apps. Because you got to think to yourself, out of all the hundreds of matches this fairly attractive woman has, she picked you to rob. Maybe you just look goofy as hell. Maybe you look like a victim. So, I don't know what it is. Maybe you need to hit the gym, bro. Maybe you need to look more serious and presentable on your pictures, because you look like a victim to be robbed. You out here looking goofy as hell, and they picking your ass as a victim. Like, you got to just think in the mind of a person who wants to rob people. Like, I'm about to go and mug somebody. I'm not going to pick the biggest guy in the block, because my chances of success are not going to be that great. I'm going to pick the weak and flimsy, goofy looking motherfucker to rob. Some of you guys just look goofy as hell. And you look like a person who might get robbed. So don't look so stupid online. But on a serious note, like, dealing with these women out here, it doesn't have to be that complicated. It doesn't have to be that difficult. And you really don't even need online dating out here in Colombia. You just literally walk outside and you can find hot chicks. Bro, I'm telling you, like, you guys are so used to that American game. Just walk outside, bro. Walk outside and talk to these chicks, bro. It's not that difficult. And if you want to pay for play, bro, it's a safe bet to just go to these establishments, spas, strip clubs, these established clubs, because they're semi-verified. And if you do have a problem with these chicks, you can go straight to the club and complain, and they will handle it. But those are my tips out here to be safe here in Colombia. It doesn't have to be. I've been living here for the longest and never had a single issue. But I can't say the same for everybody else. Be safe out there. Watch it. And don't be looking goofy. Don't look like a victim. It's your boy Passport Dog here, and I'm out. Peace.